Under these head covers, I have two of the most forgiving and the most underrated drivers of 2025. Today, we're going to put them to the test and see which one potentially could be best for me and of course, best for you. Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Guys, if you're new here, take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button below. We are well on the way to 300,000 subscribers, which I can't quite believe, to be honest, but I'd love you to be a part of it. So today we're talking Titleist GT280 and PXG Secret Weapon drivers. Now these for me are potentially two of the best forgiving drivers, but also underrated because of the versatility. You see, the GT280, guess what cc the head is, Bobby?
280.
It's 280, exactly. And the PXG Secret Weapon is?
300.
It's 300 cc, so these are slightly smaller than the likes of the TaylorMade, the Callaway mini drivers, and that potentially can make them a little bit more versatile off the tee, but incredibly versatile from the fairway as well, which we're going to test in today's video. Now I'm going to look at in depth of the adjustability factors of these as well, because the adjustability on these clubs is quite remarkable. But first, let's go PXG first on this gorgeous looking hole here at Woolley Park Golf Club. So we've got them both in the same loft specs. I've got them in the same kind of weight settings if possible, and both these drivers are fitted to my specs. And you'll see they have different upcharge shafts in them, which are quite expensive upchargers, but they do perform pretty well for me. So it's interesting how the fittings went slightly differently, but I think that's why it's important to go and get fitted if you are spending £450, which both of these are circa around. So we have a lovely carbon crown on top of this PXG, and it's designed for high MOI, which means forgiveness. So how forgiving is it? That is quite frankly a ridiculous tee shot, isn't it? Now, the big positive, that's gone miles by the way. The big positive for me with the PXG isn't just the element of forgiveness, isn't just the stylish looks of the 300cc head, but it is that adjustability. We have 4 adjustable weights here, so you can really do this your way. It's a bit like Burger King. Is that still a thing? Have it your way. Whereas the Titleist, you can see, looks sleek, looks nice, looks sexy, but we just have a 2-way adjustability street here, so you can change that to be high MOI or a little bit lower MOI, depending what you want. Now, that is going to be a very, very difficult tee shot to get past. I can't believe how good that's gone, to be quite honest, but let's see just what we can do. So the Titleist for me, all of them haven't felt amazing this year. The whole GT range, it doesn't quite feel and sound as nice as potentially the TSR, TSR3, TSR2, TSI and that range. But they do perform well. The ball speeds are up there. The forgiveness levels are up there with that military grade crown. So this is big now because I feel like I've really set the standard there with the PXG. What can we do with the Titleist? A little bit further left, but still a good strike. This is going to be interesting. One down the right side of the fairway, one down the left side of the fairway. Guys, get in the comments below, which one would you have in your bag in 2025 if you were thinking about one of the best drivers of the year when it comes to performance, forgiveness, looks, and versatility? Anything else? No. Wash your mouth out with soap, Robert. Rob's just giving me the worst swear word ever, but...
No, I have not, don't lie.
I mean, it wasn't very nice, was it?
It wasn't nice, but it wasn't the worst one out of all of them.
Or was it? Guys, comment below what's the worst. No, we're not getting to that. But PXG's here, and I thought, I honestly thought the Titleist would do really, really well to catch up with that. The Titleist was a bit more of a pull, it was a bit lower. I'm trying to, it's there. It's like, it's 15 yards further. Like you can say obviously the landing of the fairway and stuff and the slope, but realistically they're two fantastic drives with these clubs. And once again, I think, what more do you want for forgiveness and versatility? Now the golf courses we often play, do you need a driver that goes 300, 310, 320? I mean, it would be nice if everyone could do that. But if you have a driver that goes 250, 260, and you hit the fairway the majority of the time, that is massively underrated for a lot of people. Let's test them off the fairway. Let's see potentially what they are like there, and then let's look at some numbers as well and see really what they are when we get to the bones of these clubs, because that, I can't believe that. I really can't. So when I say about these two clubs being potentially the most underrated drivers of the year, why is that? Because we all know that mini drivers, could it be a a bit of a fad? Potentially, could it be something which could massively help your game, or should you just buy a 3-wood? So you saw with the first shots, we hit some nice tee shots with both these clubs, very, very similar results, because the head styles are very, very similar. Now, when we look at the likes of the TaylorMade and the Callaway, they are just that little bit bigger. They're more kind of 300cc as opposed to 280, 290. Now, the big differences in these clubs as well is the level of forgiveness and the level of adjustability you can have. So we have 2 adjustable hosels here, but also massive adjustments to be made on the PXG with those 4 weights, and of course 2 adjustments to be made on the Titleist to make it kind of low spin or a bit more forgiving. Now, the fact that they are a little bit smaller head size means that it can be more versatile. It means that it can potentially be a better club for you off the fairway. I say the word potentially because people don't like it in the comments, do they? I say it too much, I'm sorry, but potentially they could be the best ones. Now, the GT, playing at 13 degrees of loft, almost just looks like a really, really big 3-wood. So when you hit shots like that with it on the par 5, it's no shock. That's really good, isn't it? That might be really close to the flag, actually. But from like 260, 270 yards out, this is where a 3-wood just wouldn't get there. Now, I did strike that a little bit low on the face, so it was a little bit spinny. That's not necessarily a bad thing from a shot like this, as long as the spin axis isn't too tilted and you've not cut across it too much or kind of snap hooked it a little bit too much. But if Bobby comes in and shows us these 2 heads, they're actually really, really similar in shape and design, aren't they? And I think PXG really nailed it with that carbon crown. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I do like the kind of white line at the back of it here, just to show you the surface area you do have. That gives you a bit more, kind of makes it a bit more comfortable. But the Titleist is certainly that more traditional looking driver, which Titleist have always done. Now, with the PXG, can we match the shot of the Titleist? We have this set exactly the same on 13 degrees. Is it as easy to launch? Now, for me, that looks to be quite a bit more powerful and more of a knuckleball. It's pitched just to the right and it's taken an interesting bounce. So it'll be interesting to see just where both of those balls have finished. Let's get down there and see, because this is a very, very interesting comparison out here on the fairway, probably as much so as on the tee box or of course in the simulator, discussing the numbers for these clubs. Right, they have actually done really, really well. So we have the Titleist, which is safely aboard the fringe, and the PXG has just caught that green side bunker. I would be worried for the PXG there if the bunker wasn't there, because I think it was going in hot and it potentially could have gone in the trees. But from that distance out where I probably couldn't have reached with a 3-wood, I'm quite happy with both those as a result. I'm going to give that a victory to the Titleist though, because that has to have been close to going in, Bob, doesn't it, as well, where you look at where that flag is. But I would fancy both those shots, to be honest, to get up and down. And this is what these clubs are all about. It's about, yes, you have a safety club for off the tee, but then off the fairway, you potentially have a club that can get you down there. You are not safe there. You've done. Are you sure? Quite happy. And this one would be a bit of an eagle opportunity, wouldn't it? Unless you duff it. Duffy lie. Oh, okay, so numbers with these 2 heavyweight drivers for 2025, because it's been an interesting head-to-head out on the golf course. Let's see just what we do see with difference for numbers. So we'll go Titleist first here, and I think it will be fairly close, but that felt absolutely fantastic. 3,400 spin. I would imagine around a kind of 240 carry, 250, 60 total would be where we're going to talk with this. You can see that's pretty much done what we said there. It's interesting because actually off the deck, I do see lower spin numbers with these clubs and actually really, really good carry. So sometimes you would see teeing it really, really low, or even just hitting it off the deck, off the tee, if that makes sense, the teeing area, but off the deck. That's nice again, 3,000 spin. Really nice, easy launching shot, coming down nicely just over, or just on the 250 mark, 265 total. So really, really nice and consistent. You can see how straight that was as well. The dispersion's really, really good for me there. I'm pleased with it. Very little side spin on that one, which is nice. Now that's a good one because that's where the spin really drops. It's actually probably dropped a bit too much. It's almost dipped out the air, but it's again, that kind of 250 carry, 270 total, and again, pretty much middle of the fairway. So really, really nice and happy with that. We'll go a couple more, then we'll go PXG. We've got them both set on pretty much as neutral setting as you can get. The Titleist just has that kind of heavy weight at the front there just to bring it lower spin a bit. Really enjoyed testing the Titleist though. Oh, that's not a good one. Now this is interesting because it'll be interesting to see what that's lost quite a bit. That's lost probably 25 yards of carry, which isn't ideal. Still an okay total distance. It's kind of run out.
Ready.
That felt nice. Much higher ball flight, again, kind of 3,000 spin, so plenty of spin. And again, around that 250 mark through the air. To really like a 270 total is not a bad number for me with a club like this, and probably not a bad number for a lot of golfers out there. What can we get? PXG. Nice high spinner, 3,500 spin. Interesting one, much easier to launch. That felt like a pretty decent strike, but distance dropped off just a touch, probably due to the spin realistically. Can set this on a really low spin setting. Oh, and that's the first one we've really not hit the fairway on. That's a bit of a smother hook. Carry was okay, it's clung on. Important not to try too hard with these clubs, to know that the distance is the distance and you're not necessarily trying to squeeze more out of it. If that's the case, you might as well hit a proper driver. That's a toey one. Struggling for consistency with the PXG inside, and that's interesting because that's not what I found out on the golf course. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Still probably a little bit shorter than potentially the Titleist. Let's hit one more. Let's get back outside and see which one takes the bacon. Is that the right phrase, Bobby? Takes the bacon? That felt nice. That felt really nice. That's got to be up there. I think in relation to like quality of strike, very, very consistent and very, very similar numbers. But I have struck the Titleist a little bit more consistently. I keep saying one more, but I really enjoy testing these. Look at that one go. You're going to throw that one in the longest by far. Just be better. Just be, not these, just be better. I can be an influencer. Ah, dear. Right, we're both just in awe, aren't we, of that shot. But let's see now if the PXG can get its own back. I mean, it could have just been a lucky bounce. It could have been. We're talking about the first shots, not the ones from, I'll tell you what, we're littered with T-pegs here, not the ones off the deck. Shall I go Titleist first this time? Try and set the standard just a bit. Now, for me, one of the big things that these clubs do really, really well is that level of adjustability. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because it's not just the level of weight you can change. We know the PXG has the 4 weights and the Titleist does have the 2, but if we take the heads off these, you'll see that we all know for a long time that the Titleist does feature that sure fit technology, and that is a little bit like, you have to know what you're doing with it when you flick this round and stuff. But realistically, if you do have the key with it, then it does make it a lot easier. There's lots of different options there for you to go at, but if you lose your key, I mean, you can always go online and find it, but it is a little bit kind of more complicated. Now, the beauty about the PXG has certainly... The Matrix, yeah. It's a little bit complicated, isn't it? Yeah. Like, whereas with this, it's literally like it's designed for like the likes of me or Gaz. Like, do you want it standard? Do you want it lower? Do you want it higher? PXG, kaboom, baby. That's all it gives you. Now, it doesn't necessarily give you the lie angle, which the Titleist does, so it's less options, but it's nice and simple. So I do quite like that, and I don't know which one I'd probably prefer. I'd probably prefer, for me, if you're going to go and get fitted for them, get the fitter to do the work, and then, like, don't even take a key with you. Just don't have a key. I think that's essentially what you could do. But back to the Titleist, wind off left a little bit. Can we flight it down nicely and really put these through the paces? That's a nice shot of this fairway. See the wind moving it a little bit, but it's nice flight, mid-flight, not too high, and it's done what I want it to do essentially there. So, can we knock it past it with the PXG? The PXG certainly feels nicer, it feels a little bit softer. That's just a kind of personal preference for myself, but can we get one chasing down there? Probably looks a little bit nicer as well, personal opinion. Now that's interesting because they're exactly the same ball flight and they're on exactly the same line. And the PXG's done it by miles there, hasn't it? I think the PXG certainly into the wind does feel that little bit kind of more penetrating. And certainly when you look at the numbers, these two are really, really consistent and really good drivers for 2025. Let's look at the difference here outside because numbers are all good and well, but I really enjoyed just testing them head to head and seeing what potentially happens out here on the course. So guys, if you've enjoyed that video, thank you ever so much once again for your time. I'd love it if you took the time to subscribe if you are enjoying the videos. And as you can see, this time the PXG has massively, that's for like 20 yards, isn't it?
That's more than 20.
It's more than 20 yards, done really, really well. So two fantastic drivers to go at. I would highly recommend you make sure you get them in your specs, in the correct specs. And I would massively recommend that you look at these two as mini drivers because that slightly smaller head style does make it a little bit more versatile, whilst maybe not as forgiving as the TaylorMade and the Callaway. So you know what you want out of it. Make sure you go and check them out. And apart from that, I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow. Bye.